Okay, real quick, want to talk about David from Angel Studios. I'm going to do a longer review episode on the regular feed on YouTube and on our podcast. But for right now, just real quick, here is my brief overview of David from Angel Studios. And my brief overview is it's pretty good. I was actually surprised. The animation style, I enjoyed it. There's some character designs where I'm like, that's kind of cool. There's some character designs where I was like, that's pretty good. David especially, David felt natural as he progressed from a young boy into a man. And there were some character designs where I thought that's kind of weird, but specifically Samuel and Goliath. But the storyline itself, I was engaged with it. And I mean, obviously, growing up in church, I know the story of David and I've heard it and I've studied it for a couple different reasons, for books that I've done and for lessons that I've done. But so the storyline, I feel like they stayed fairly close to scripture, and there might be some compressed timeline things that they kind of had to do, I think, in order to tell the story in a three-act arc kind of a thing. Speaking of a three-act arc, it did remind me stylistically of the story style, reminded me of The Lion King, where there is like a song montage, but it was no Hakuna Matata. it was I don't even remember what the song was like when they were doing the montage, and when I looked away from the screen and looked back and said, oh, he's older now, But it does follow David from being a young boy to being a king as a young man. And it does include Goliath, and it includes Saul. And a lot of the movie really is about just between David and Saul and the relationship between the two of them, especially when Saul is the king and David has been anointed to be the king. And what is that going to look like for that relationship? But also, what does it look like for Saul, who doesn't want to give up being king, and David, who in some ways is saying, I'm not sure I want to be king. And there's some good themes about fear. There's good themes about trusting God. One of the things that they kind of weave in throughout the whole thing is the idea of the threads in the tapestry of your life. And that led to a song that really reminded me of The Greatest Showman. Where they're running around and there's all these blankets and tapestries hanging, and they're running and through. Reminds me of the one scene on the top of the building where they're doing the laundry in The Greatest Showman. And musically, it's supposed to remind you of The Greatest Showman, but it also reminded me of Prince of Egypt. And so, yeah, Lion King by way of Prince of Egypt. It did have a vibe or if you think like the bright colors that you often see in like a 3D movie like Pixar or something like that, the animation was not necessarily on par with Pixar, but close. And then you put a sheen of muted color over it to give it a more, I don't know, realistic style. But anyway, David, pretty good. I would, there was a scene at the end that was a little bit scary that I could see children kind of being scared of, especially younger children. The interesting thing about that whole scene, though, is it's all about not having fear because God is with you. And so I have a feeling that there might be some catharsis in there with it's kind of scary with the bad guys who are around them. And then the payoff for that scene being, do not fear, I will not be afraid. But yeah, I mean, I feel like it's a strong family film. I feel like if I had watched this when my kids were younger, I probably would have then said, hey, let's take the kids and let's go see this movie. The idea of releasing it as a Christmas movie is spot on. Family Christmas movie, just in time for vacation. So I recommend it. I did enjoy myself watching it, and I was watching it by myself as a 51-year-old man. So yeah, so that's my quick review of David. I might do a longer review, or I might just pop this into the feed and do my quick review there. So till next time, do not be afraid. God is with you, and Godspeed.